I started playing in big bands. And so I knew I wanted to play jazz, and I'm not sure if I had really understood that it was possible to make a career out of playing jazz, but I knew I wanted to be a professional musician. So my goal was definitely to play jazz and play in big bands and just make a living playing music with anybody. I think after I came out here, came to New York, I started realizing there was so much more in the music. So my focus hadn't changed. I guess my goal hadn't changed then, but my focus had definitely gotten stronger. So I would practice more on improvising, practice more on reading, just trying to make everything at that next level. I had been listening to jazz ever since I could remember. And the funny thing, I was listening to jazz and European classical music because jazz and classical music were in all those Warner Brother cartoons. They were in the Flintstones. It's like anything that was kind of cool in animation had either jazz or European classical. So I didn't even know it, but it was hitting my ear. And when I got older, you'd hear stuff on the radio and you have these little mental flashes of Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck. It's like, yeah, this was in that cartoon. And then you find out it's jazz. And in the old school radio stations, like the R&B stations, before they would go into commercial, they would play a jazz tune, but they didn't say it was a jazz tune. So I would listen to Ramsey Lewis and whoever else they put, Horace Silver, Lee Morgan, Sidewinder, and it's like, oh, to me, since they didn't say anything, it was an instrumental R&B tune, but it was jazz. But with any kind of quote-unquote profession, with musicians, we say you got to pay your dues. With any other profession, it's called an apprenticeship. So when somebody who's studying law, they get an apprenticeship with a major law firm, it's like, great. For a doctor, somebody studying medicine, they get this apprenticeship or whatever, however they label it, in like a major hospital. That's great. So it's the same with a musician. We don't call it an apprenticeship, we call it paying dues, but it's exactly the same thing. My big band, the Eddie Allen aggregation, as most people will tell you, anybody who has a big band, they say it's a labor of love. And it really is, because especially during today's times, you don't really expect to get paid well with a big band because there's so many musicians. So you do it for the love of the music, the love of that sound that you get from all those instruments. For me, that's it. It's like, I love writing music, but once you put together those musicians that you know are going to be like a nice fit, and they play some of your music, it's like, for me, right after I hear them play something, I want to run home and write some more music. It's like, because it's just inspiring. I try to always have either open with or at least have a blues in there to acknowledge the roots of the music in blues. We have a CD coming out in a few weeks, and the name of the CD is called Push, and it's a septet, and it consists of acoustic bass, drums, piano, trumpet, trombone, tenor sax, and we also have a synthesizer, a keyboard player, separate from the pianist. I really want to try and work that group a lot. Just work it, perform it live as much as possible. Hope to get a chance to like tour with the group as well. I've done a lot of touring in the past as a sideman, so to be able to like take this group out as a leader would be like a lot of fun. The biggest lesson that I've ever learned, I think it's just there are times when you should shut up and pay attention.